The game that became close, kind of not out of nowhere, but credit to Baylor for making a run. Texas Tech ends up finishing the job and pulling out the victory. Texas Tech gets the win 76-74 over Baylor. Texas Tech in control of this game for the most part at halftime. They led 52-39. It looked like, we talked about this game being these teams going offense for offense, and Texas Tech's offense out offensing Baylor's offense. And for the first 20 minutes of this basketball game, that's exactly what happened. The second half was a different story. Texas Tech was stagnant. Texas Tech only put up 24 second half points in this one. Baylor made a run, had a chance to win this one. But in the end, Texas Tech prevailed. JT Toppin was incredible in this basketball game. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks to go along with it. I'm a big man at heart. Actually, not a big, I am a big man. I'm a big man at heart. I'm a guard at heart. I'm an actual big man. What's wrong with me? It's late. Uh, it warmed my heart to see a good old fashioned big man off, a good old fashioned front court battle. All the guards get to be all cutesy all the time. Sometimes you got to grind your teeth and bite the floor. And that's what Norchad Omier did in this game in JT Toppin. Norchad had a game himself, 29 points and 15 rebounds in this basketball game. Subi, I'll throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on ended up being a nail biter and a pretty good basketball game again?
You know what warms my heart, Cart, is when people I respect in the industry, like you, have similar thought processes when you're watching the game. Because the entire time I'm seeing JT Toppin and Norchad Omier duke it out, I'm just thinking to myself, I hope they do a jersey swap at the end of this game or something. And it just, what's that movie with Lakeith Stanfield? Like they're just exchanging passive aggressive. He's like a telemarketer or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
He's like, I hope you have a great day. Like I feel like Norchad Omier and JT Toppin were talking about that. Just an immense amount of respect for the or it's just like, "Oh, I'm just trying to get like you, bro. Like
I'm
I'm just
trying.
trying to get."
I'm just trying to get like. Nah, I'm trying to get like you, big brother. I'm trying to get like
That's
you, man.
that's every offensive possession. I swear. That's what it was. I mean, really, truly, those two players were the best guys on the court, and it was an epic battle. Tech came out scorching hot. Another sort of parallel to this game. You know that meme with the horse that's drawn so beautifully
Yeah,
to
and then
start.
fades out.
That was Texas Tech, man. I mean, these guys came out scorching hot. I think they've hit their first 6 shots out of 7. They didn't miss a 3. They were amazing. And then the screws tightened a little bit in the second half to the tune of Texas Tech not hitting a field goal for the last 7.5 minutes. That cannot happen. I don't like honestly, they should feel lucky they escaped that because I mean, no one was able to hit shots in the paint for a stretch down the stretch, I should say. And then VJ Edgecombe did have a chance to win it at the end because my boy Christian Anderson, he didn't have the greatest game, but he also missed 2 free throws at
Mhm.
the end of the game. So it was really just, I mean, you figured water would find its level, but it came to a screeching halt for Texas Tech. But man, it felt like, and it's felt like this all year. Baylor's, I'm pretty sure in. I know they're not a slam dunk, but so their season's going to continue. But all year, it seems as if they've just gotten no front court production outside of Norchad Omier.
Mhm.
And that type of line is going to get you probably to the Sweet 16. But then when you start to play the elite teams like you did against Texas Tech, someone else has to help out. And VJ Edgecombe was good too, but it's just like in the front court, I just don't know if there's enough production there for the Baylors long term.
Yeah, and there just wasn't enough shot making, in my opinion, outside of Norchad. Like Rob Wright had a good game. He was 4-9 from the field, but BJ Edgecombe struggled 0-3 from 3, 4-13 from the field. Did have a really good stat line. Filled up the stat sheet, had 11, 7, and 5 in this game. But they just needed more. And it sucks that this Norchad performance kind of went for naught. Because he was a monster in this basketball game, all from 2 point range, to classic big man buckets. None of that 3 point nonsense, all inside the yard. What they're miniature. All that, strap it up. But yeah, Baylor's gonna be a team that I think, obviously I'm the worst bracketologist on the face of the earth. But that's a tournament team to me. I think they
Mm.
deserve to be there, and I'm assuming they're in there. So we'll see what they can do. They have enough talent to make noise. And they honestly did enough to win this game with how they played defense in the first half. Like I can't believe they were even in this game given how they played. You mentioned the streak that they had, but In the end, they weren't able to do enough with Texas Tech. Now, on the Texas Tech side of things, I mentioned JT Toppin, who was incredible, 26, 10, 3 blocks. Chance McMillan, like, went out of this game with an injury, and McCaslin was a little bit like iffy about, like, kind of cryptic with it. He's like, yeah, I mean, if Chance can play, he'll play. And we're like, no, no shit. I assume that. Like, what's wrong with him though? Like, he went out of the game with an apparent injury. Not really sure what that is. That is big because Chance McMillan is one of the best shooters in the country, and obviously, this Texas Tech team, if they have the aspirations they have, if they want to win and cut down nets and make a Final Four, which I think this team actually does have Final Four capabilities, it's with Chance McMillan in the fold, and they need to see what he is. And honestly, at this point, I'm same thing I said about Iowa State. If Chance McMillan's not 100%, you sit him. You're fine with that. We got bigger fish to fry, and Christian Anderson can start. So like, let him cook. Let the young man cook. I'm fine with that. But where are you at with this Texas Tech team and their performance in this basketball game?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's impossible to. I don't think it's fair. I should say, maybe not impossible, but I don't think it's fair to expect them to blow Baylor off the court. Baylor still has pride. Baylor still has good players. Jeremy Roach showed up at decent stretches, and Scott Drew is Scott Drew, which we've mentioned multiple times. So I think just overall, it was a solid performance. You'd like to finish the game in a much cleaner fashion for sure.
Mhm.
And these are things that they can fix, I think, moving forward. And I actually don't expect them to go a 7.5 minute stretch of with no field goal. So I think for the Red Raiders, it was good. I'm glad you brought up Chance though. I don't like has he been performing that well recently though? Right? Like
It's been weird. He's been doing like this in and out thing. That's the thing.
yeah.
Like, it's like, is he hurt? Is he not hurt? He'll play, but he's like not. It's been really, really strange to watch, to be honest.
I, so I think you need a little bit more consistency. And look, I'm not questioning the young man's health. Like if you're not good to play, don't play. That's fine. I'm just saying if you're Grant McCaslin, you need to have a little bit more steadiness from that position. And I'm still a big believer in Christian Anderson. I think we both are, but he wasn't all that special in this game. Again, he's just a freshman. But if Texas Tech wants to get to San Antonio, they need to have a little bit more steadiness there. That's probably the only thing I would say. And then I think they need to try and find a little bit more ways to create offense. Again, that 7.5 minute stretch, I don't foresee it happening again, but that's certainly something McCaslin's going to have to take away because he knows it's also not feasible, right? It was feast or famine. It's also not feasible to shoot like they did in the first half, which was ripping the courts. So some things to take away, but I think just overall it was a very good performance and kudos to Tech, right? Like you got to play a full 40 minutes, but jumping out that hot and getting the lead that they had, it was ugly at the end, but they kept them at bay.
Yeah, and look, it's about getting across the finish line. If you don't get across the finish line, then you freak out, and then we had get on here and we're like, "What happened with Tech? How could they go that long without the scoring streak and the way it went?" And we start having all types of dialogue, but we don't have to have those dialogues because you know what happened? They ended up winning the basketball game, and now they advance to take on your, and I said your Wildcats, Subi, and we will have the preview for that game up here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel, as well as all previews and recaps for the Big 12 tournament as we get to and work our way towards the championship. Be sure to tune into Sleepers Media YouTube channel to catch all the previews and recaps. And be sure to like, subscribe, and tune in for all your March coverage over here.